Hello, this is Joanna Shaw. Joanna Shaw is the leader of a law firm here in Barrie that does family law. And Joanna Shaw is way ahead of the curve when it comes to finding ways to calm ourselves during stressful times because you've been meditating and doing yoga for a long time. Isn't that right, Joanna? How long?
Yes, I have been. I would say at least for 10 years, if
For
not
more
more.
more than 10 years.
Yeah.
How often do they're different. Meditation and yoga are different. How often do you do each?
I do meditation and yoga almost daily. I do have my days when I don't, and when I don't meditate and do yoga, I feel the difference in how I go through the day. So my levels of agitation, my levels of frustration is much higher when I'm not meditating and when I'm not doing yoga. So I have a practice that I wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning. Not that I expect anyone else to do that. That's a little bit early. But I wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning and I start my practice with meditation. And so I do about a 40-minute meditation. But when I first started, I might have been doing like maybe 10, 15 minutes of meditation. After my meditation practice, I take a walk, which is really important for just kind of opening the body. Then I come back and I do about 20 to 30 minutes of yoga. So you don't have to do a lot of it, but I think sometimes people feel like they need to be in yoga for an hour or so. Now that's my strategy right now, but was really never meant to be an exercise. It was really meant to be an opportunity to open your body and make you ready for meditation. So I kind of do it a little backwards right now because I'm usually ready for meditation when I first wake up in the morning. But if for some reason meditation is really difficult for you, some stretches first. So yoga, for example, before you sit in meditation, because those stretches are meant to get your body ready and to silence your mind by focusing on the physical aspect of your body. Because your body tends to be very loud. Our bodies are what some scientists would call, or another guru that I listen to, Joe Dispenza, he says, the body is a subconscious mind. So the body wants to move and from a subconscious perspective. And so it hijacks the mind more often than not. So we want to kind of quiet it through stretching and opening it up and saying, okay, yeah, we're paying attention to you. And now we're going to pay attention to the mind and we're going to silence the mind in that process. So that's why it's a good idea to do some yoga before you actually sit in meditation.
So does your firm, your lawyers, do they practice as well?
It's a work in progress, but we did actually yesterday. I think one of our lawyers right now is very much into yoga. I try not to force anyone into doing things that they might not be comfortable with. So for now, we have at least one lawyer who's very, very passionate about it and has been missing her yoga classes. So yesterday we took some time out and we did some yoga. But I'm constantly sending that message to my team. Another one of our lawyers is very much into hot yoga. So my style of yoga is not her style. So she's been doing that, and I'm guessing that right now that's a little tricky because you can't get into a room to
Right.
do hot yoga given the circumstances that we're in right now. But that's her style. And yoga, it doesn't matter how you come to yoga, as long as you come to yoga in some shape or form. Again, it's the process to get us into meditation.
Right. What's the science behind it?
Well, that's a very good question. And without getting too complicated, really what's happening in our bodies as we open up our bodies, we allow the flow of energy in our body. We know, I think a lot of scientists are now coming to recognize that we are energy beings, and we're energy beings having ultimately a physical experience. And again, I'm just kind of quoting Joe Dispenza, who sort of talks about the fact that when we are yoga, we are in a state of mind that allows for our energy to become reorganized in a way that we can actually address the world and come to the world in a more peaceful way. So for the science in yoga, when we do certain poses and movements, we are sending messages to the brain to release certain chemicals in our body. So for example, when we are standing on our feet, and there's something that I do with my students, is we go back and forth on our feet. So just kind of like massaging the bottom of our feet as we stand on it. Going from toe to heel, heel to toe. What we're doing is we're activating those energy centers at the bottom of our feet, sending the message to our brain that we're now in a standing position. We need balance. And so the brain starts to release the chemicals that ultimately engage that part of our body. So that's just one example. When we are in yoga, opening our bodies, opening our muscles, and allowing for the energy to flow through our bodies. So there's a lot of, there's a lot of science behind it, which I'm happy to kind of talk about. And it would be a little more convoluted to talk about it in detail. From a meditation perspective, is the same idea. As we are in meditation, we're releasing chemicals in the brain that allows the body to heal. We're bringing both hemispheres of the brain together. So, for example, yogis say that when we bring our hands together in prayer pose, what we're doing is we're activating the energy centers in our hands. That is also sending the message to the brain to bring both hemispheres sort of operating in isolation. So that's just one element of yoga and meditation. But the other thing I should say, and I keep going back and forth with yoga and meditation because I kind of feel like they're both. They both work really well together because we need to move, but we also need to quiet the mind. And for me, when I'm doing yoga, the style of yoga that I do is hatha yoga. So hatha yoga is bringing both mind and body together, and there is a form of meditation in the whole process. So every movement is a form of meditation. So you can actually meditate in, let's say, child's pose, or you can meditate in the warrior pose. And just to sort of mention the child's pose, when we are in child's pose, we are calming the nervous system. So the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system are now starting to operate in a different way. So the parasympathetic system kicks in when we are in certain poses, when we're in yoga and meditation, and the sympathetic nervous system then sort of takes a back seat. So, it's no longer a situation like, we're running from a bear, right? When we're constantly, especially in the climate that we're in right now, we're in that place where our brain, the amygdala, is highly active.
Right.
And so we are all feeling like we're running from that bear. And
yeah.
so
and the difference is there's no bear for us to run from, and
exactly,
it's the body is like, how do I fight this thing? It's so out of our control, and
that's right.
Just compounding the stress and worry that we all have. Do you have any books or resources you would suggest that we look at
for yoga or meditation?
For either.
Okay, so the book that I just mentioned, Stress Less, Do More, that's a really simplified version of meditation. And in fact, she talks about meditation from someone who doesn't know anything about meditation. So it's sort of starting from the very beginning. She talks about the science behind it in a lot more depth than I just did. And so it's a really great way to understand. She speaks about it in layman's terms. So that I would start with a book like that.
Can you show it on the screen for everyone?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Can you see it?
Stress Less, Accomplish More, Emily Fletcher.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. I recently read a book called 10% Better.
Oh, okay.
Have you come across that? It was a journalist looking into meditation, and it was his experience because he was concerned that whether he could still be on the cutting edge and doing good, strong work when meditating. Will it soften him in a way? And and he discovered, of course, that it just made life at least 10% better.
Yeah.
And that he could still perform at a high level. So that's another good book, 10% Better.
That's fantastic. I'll take a look at that. I will say this. There has been moments in the distant past where I worried about that too, you know, like doing meditation and yoga and really practicing from a different perspective, whether or not that was going to have me perceived as a soft lawyer, you know, or someone who's maybe not practicing law at all.
Right.
And I think that because I struggle with that too, and you know, because you kind of feel like you always have to be on the edge and be in that aggressive space. What I found though is in doing this is really calmed my ability to interact and to stay focused in very difficult situations. Doesn't mean I don't get stressed, I do, but it's how quickly I can now move out of that stressful space. There used to be a time where I would be in that, you know, very high active amygdala, that very high cortisol release space, and for a long period of time, and that becomes a problem, right? That's when our bodies start to break down. Now I can do it fairly quickly. I can move myself out of stress in a very rapid way, as soon as I bring my mind back to where I need to be, and it's
Well,
focused.
and with our clients are going to be coming to us with their amygdala and
Yes.
full on, and so we're going to be surrounded in our professional lives by people in that state, a lot of fear and worry, and
Mhm.
I think we have an obligation to try to be calming and supportive for our clients and help
Yes.
them get through this, so that they
Yeah.
can make better decisions, because when your amygdala is triggered like that, you don't always make the best decisions.
No.
Your decisions are impaired in a way,
Yes.
and I
And
think we have an obligation to help our clients find a way to be their best selves.
yes, and I agree, and I bring that to every experience that I have with a client as well, right? Even in mediation, I remind people that they're not in the best state to make good decisions right now, and so just kind of pointing them in that direction, and at least they have an opportunity to think about it. So yes, absolutely, I bring that constantly to the table, and when I'm explaining things to clients as well, right? I know that maybe they're not hearing me because right now their brain is so over hyperactive at this point on everything that's horrible, that they can't hear anything I'm saying, so they're not hearing solutions either. So sometimes I don't, in that moment I won't give a solution. I'll just listen and just breathe deeply. And this is the other piece. I mean, when you're meeting with a client, if you're breathing deeply and you're really calm and you're really centered, there's an energy that you're exuding to your clients, which they then begin to very subtly receive. And you might find that they will start to calm down because they'll start to match your breathing,
Yeah.
right? So if you're breathing deeply, they'll start to match your breathing and you'll start to see them coming into that calmer space.
Mirror neurons, isn't that what they're called?
Yes, absolutely. There you go.
Yeah. And
You know,
we need to show leadership by bringing that to our clients, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Would
Yes.
you be able to maybe lead us in a brief meditation?
I'm ready. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to put your speaking.
Absolutely. So what I was going to do, actually, I was going to lead you into a breathing technique. So, did you want the meditation versus the breathing technique? Because the breathing technique is really what's going to get you into that very calm space. Would that would that be
That would
good?
be great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll actually send you some research, I think, from the Health Line around this breathing. This is called the alternate nostril breathing. Have you ever heard of it? Have you done
No,
it in yoga
no.
before? No? Okay. So then that's the breath I will teach you then.
Okay.
And it is a form of meditation. So I'll demonstrate it first so that so you see what I'm doing, and then we'll do it together. Okay?
Okay.
Excellent. So usually what we're doing is we're sitting nice and straight, so our back is nice and straight so that your spine is erect and not slouching in any way. If you're sitting on the floor or someplace where it's comfortable, you can cross your legs if that's comfortable for you. I like to cross my legs with my left foot on the inside and the right foot on the outside. There is an energy that happens in our bodies when we're in a certain position. But if you're sitting on a chair, feet on the ground, not crossed in any way, sometimes people like to cross their legs. It's not a good idea because from a yogi's perspective, you're blocking the energy, and so you don't want to do that. The left hand is sitting in your lap with the palm facing up. So sitting in your lap with your palm facing up, your shoulders away from your ears, your chin's parallel to the earth, and your eyes are going to be closed, but for now, don't close it, just watch me. So your right hand now is in front of your face, in front of your nose. You're going to take your right thumb and you're going to close off the right nostril. And you're going to inhale, but you're going to pretend that the breath is coming all the way from the earth, all the way to the tip of your head. So as you breathe in, and I'm just using my left hand to demonstrate. So you're breathing in, imagine the breath coming slowly up to the top of your head. And then you're going to take your pinky and you're going to close off the left side, release the right nostril, and then you're going to allow the breath to release on the right side. And then you're going to inhale again on the right side. You're going to close off the right nostril, release the left, and breathe out through the left side. And that's the alternate nostril breath. That's one breath. And you can do that 3 or 5 times, depending on how comfortable you feel.
You know, I have to tell you, Joanna, when you just told us what we were going to do, I thought you were just wanting us to control our nostrils independently. And I was like, how's this going to work? I'm glad we can use our hand to make it work.
There you go. That's right. Exactly. So it's kind of like when you're breathing, it's almost like an inverted U. So you're inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, and exhaling. You want to close off your nostril, so you're usually sort of clipping it off at the tip, like just between where the hard point of your nose is and the soft part of your nose. So you want to be very gentle there, just closing off the breath. And your eyes are closed, so you really focus on the breath. And I'm not going to talk you through it when we're doing it, only because I want you to focus on your own breath and not my voice. And when you're complete, you're going to take both your hands, palms facing up on your knees, and you're just going to sit there and you're going to breathe deeply.
So you exhale and then breathe in through the same nostril and then switch. Is that right? Exhale and then inhale.
So I'll just demonstrate it one more time really quickly. So closing off the right, inhaling on the left, inhaling on the left, close off the left, exhale on the right. Inhale on the right, close off the right, exhale on the left. Okay, so the same side you exhale on is the same side you're inhaling on. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, I'll send you something that you can send out to everyone from the health line, and it's a really great. But for now, we can practice it, and then you can tell me how you feel. Does that make sense? Yes. So when you're done, you're just gonna put your hands on your thighs, palms facing up. We're just gonna sit there and just gonna breathe deeply for, I'm gonna say, maybe 15 breaths. This way we sort of stay in that space, okay, for a little bit. And that in of itself is meditation. You're just focusing on the breath. You're not focusing on anything else. If any thoughts come to mind, you want to just push it out of the way. What I do is I imagine that there's this puffy cloud way in the sky, send the thoughts out to the clouds, and I just watch it move away. Just stay with the breath. But don't be hard on yourself. If thoughts come to mind, don't stress about it. It's okay. It's all good. You can't help but think. It's practice, really. Okay? So you ready?
Yeah, I am.
All right.
But with our eyes closed this time, right?
With your eyes closed, yeah.
Okay.
So that left palm, you can begin. So after the third breath, just both palms on your knees, palms facing up, and just breathe deeply for 15 minutes, for 15 breaths. Just focusing on the breath as it enters your nose and as it releases. If any thoughts come to mind, just send them on their way. Just focusing on the silence. When complete, just bringing those palms together in prayer pose. Take a nice deep breath. You can gently open your eyes and bowing in gratitude. Namaste.
Namaste.
There you go.
Wow.
You feel calmer?
Yeah, feel great. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so helpful. I'm going to be doing this every day. Yeah, maybe
Excellent.
twice a day.
As often as you need to. So one of the
Yeah.
things that we're doing at the office is everyone is taking some time out throughout the day to stop and breathe deeply like this and to imagine the world back to normal. Perhaps a better normal, but you know, in a way that we can all sort of reconnect in a physical way. But yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this. And
You're welcome.
is it okay if I share this with the world? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks
So
so much, Joanna. I appreciate it. And be well
I
and
will.
be
Thank
safe
you.
and stay in contact.
Yeah.
We need to stay connected as a community to get through this. So
Agreed.
yeah.
Agreed.
Thanks
We've
so much.
got this. We've
Yeah.
got this.
Okay.
You're welcome. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for giving me this chance for
Thank you
doing.
very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.